On today's episode of the Piedmont Motion Picture Show, I'm sharing with you my top 10 tips for making your very first short film, and that starts right now. Hey guys, Ryan here with the Piedmont Motion Picture Company. Thank you so much for joining me today. This channel is all about learning and growing as a filmmaker, so please hit that like button, please subscribe if you haven't already, and let's become better filmmakers together. Before we get started, big thanks to our patrons who support me in the channel every month. Ethan B, Ben K, Ashley S, and Richard H. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys. Thank you for your continued support. You know, making your very first short film and sharing it with others can be a pretty intimidating task. A lot of us don't know where to start, and if you're like me, at first you were really afraid of any ridicule you might get if your film wasn't good enough. Or we let things like not having enough pro gear hold us back from actually getting out there and getting started. Well, today I wanted to share with you guys 10 tips that I think will help get you motivated, help get you organized, and ultimately help you make a better film when you're ready to make your very first short film. Before we jump into the tips, today's video is going to be a little bit different than how I usually do things. You'll notice that the background looks different, the lighting's different, and I'm not going to be doing a voiceover today. The reason for that is I'm in the process of completely redoing my home studio here. I have all my gear in another room. I've tore down all the lights and all that good stuff. I bought all brand new furniture, so I'm going to be redoing this whole thing. That's for another video, but I just want to give you guys a heads up of why things were a little bit different today. This may be the very last time that you see this backdrop. But anyway, on to the tips. My very first tip, and one that I actually struggle with a lot myself, is to keep things simple. I think this is the most important tip of all. Don't write a story that's going to throw roadblocks in your way. And what I mean by that is to write a script that's going to allow you to tell a story that's within your budget and allows you to use the resources that you have available to you. For instance, don't write a story that has tons of aliens crash landing on our planet, Earth leveling, natural disasters that are going to require a ton of special effects to get it done. Try to tell a simple story that uses the available resources that you have. If you don't follow this advice and you write a story that's overly complicated, that has tons of special effects, tons of things that you don't have available to you, locations, actors, whatever it may be, chances are you're going to get frustrated, you're going to hit roadblocks, and you're never going to finish your film. So keep it simple. Tip 2, which is kind of on that same note, is to not show certain things. If you just absolutely have to write something into your script that you don't have the resources for, let's say it's some sort of ghost or creature or alien or whatever it may be. Let's take Netflix's recent film Bird Box, for example. That movie has a monster in it that we never see. This allows the audience to imagine what this monster looks like, and sometimes your imagination can be better than what you might produce for the film itself. This is going to allow the audience to conjure up in their mind what this creature looks like. Sometimes that can be a very powerful storytelling technique. So don't show the creature in your film. Don't show the audience your killer or maybe some cataclysmic event that took place. Allow your audience's mind to go crazy with imagination, and your film might just be better for it. Tip number 3 is to try and make your characters believable. Don't have your characters doing a lot of crazy, stupid, cliche things that are going to make your audiences hate them. It may seem really difficult sometimes, but try to write your characters in a believable way. You want your audience to be able to relate to your characters in the film. Even if the character in your film happens to be a bad guy, write human elements to his situation so that our audience can connect with him and relate to him. Even if he's doing terrible things, they'll at least be able to relate to him on a human level and understand maybe why he's doing those things. If you create relatable characters in your story and your audience is able to connect with them on a human and emotional level, they're going to be more invested in your film. Also, in your film, don't cast actors as characters that aren't believable. For instance, don't cast your 12-year-old little brother to play the part of a grizzled NYPD detective. It's just not going to work out. Consider changing your story to work with the actors that you have available to you. Write characters around those actors if you have to. Tip number 4 is to be as original as possible. I know sometimes that it seems like almost everything has been done before. Sometimes it seems like there just aren't any original stories left. But if you take the time to carefully plan out your story, infuse it with elements of yourself that are personal to you and your journey, And even if you're taking a reused story idea, try to put your own twist on it. Overall, combining all these things together, if you have to, will make for a more original feeling story. One thing that I've done in the past, and I've actually talked about it in other videos, is I've taken short stories that I loved as a kid, I read them, put my own twist on them, changed the characters around. As long as you're not copying a story note for note with the same characters and setting, and hopefully you create a different resolution to your story, you should be in pretty good shape. Tip number 5 is to plan things out. Sometimes doing a run and gun style film is what's going to work out best for you, just making things up as you go along. But oftentimes you're going to have a more cohesive and just overall better story if you sit down and plan out things shot for shot. Draw storyboards if you have to, make a mood board, and write out a shot list. If you'd like more info on making a shot list, I actually have a video dedicated to that, and I have a free shot list template that you can download. If you want a link to that, it should be up here somewhere, or I will post it in the description below. If you take the time to create storyboards, mood boards, shot lists, it's going to help keep you more organized, and anyone else that's involved in the film is going to have a better idea of what you're trying to convey and the story you're trying to tell, and it's just going to make the project flow a lot better, and everyone's going to be on the same page. Which brings us to our next tip, and that is to communicate your ideas to everyone involved. Don't be afraid to explain to your cast and crew exactly what it is that you're going for with your film. Talk to your cast and crew about the mood, the theme, character flaws, character history, even character history that we might not see in the film. Give them as much backstory and elements about your film as you can before you get started. The more that your cast and crew know about the theme, the mood, the characters in your film, and ultimately the story you're trying to tell, the more effectively you'll be able to actually tell that story. Tip number 7 is to be flexible or adaptable. From my experience, nothing ever goes the way you plan it. Great planning can really help bring your vision to life, but odds are you're going to have to change a few things over the course of shooting your film. It could be something like the weather isn't the way you wrote it, or an actor doesn't show up to film. You're either going to have to reschedule and shoot another day, or if you don't have that option, you might have to rewrite your story a little bit on the fly to help accommodate the changes. Be willing to adapt at a moment's notice in order to tell the best story possible. My next tip is to use available gear. If there's anything that I've learned about filmmaking from making videos from this channel, especially iPhone filmmaking videos, is that you can make an awesome film with a minimal amount of gear. Don't let the fact that you don't have a huge set of powerful lights or a red epic camera to make your film stop you from actually getting out there and doing it. Natural light can look really awesome and really cinematic, and you can get some awesome video with just your iPhone if you know how to use it. If you'd like more tips on that stuff, please check out my iPhone filmmaking series. Bottom line, don't focus too much on the gear and don't let it stop you from making your first short film. You can make a really great film with just your iPhone and something to record decent audio on. Which brings us to our next tip, and that is to focus on your audio. Audio is just as important in filmmaking as the video itself. So don't forget to put emphasis on making it the best you can. Be sure not to use your in-camera audio unless you absolutely have to. And be sure to use an external recording device and a shotgun mic if you can. If you'd like to see some affordable audio gear that I recommend for just starting out, I will post links to that in the description below. But even if you don't have these items or the money to buy them, don't let that stop you from making your film. You can write a story that has no dialogue, and you can use royalty-free sound effects and royalty-free music tracks that you can find on the internet that'll help bring your film to life. The very first short film that I ever made for this channel was actually The Farmhouse, and I used all royalty-free sound effects, royalty-free music tracks, and I used dialogue that I recorded just with my iPhone to get the job done. And my final tip might not be a very exciting one, but it's very important, and that is to organize all of your post-production project file. Be sure to label all of your folders correctly. You can organize by scene, by camera, whatever works best for you. Be sure to organize your audio into separate folders and have everything titled appropriately. Even if you're editing everything on a mobile app, I know that the iPhone has a folder system where you can organize all that stuff, and a lot of the apps that you can download like LumaFusion actually allow you to organize files on there as well. The bottom line, the more organized you are when you're doing post-production, the more organized your files are, the easier time you're going to have editing this film. A lot of people get frustrated with the editing process and give up when they're making their first short film. Don't let the fact that your ingredients are scattered all over the place stop you from getting it done. And one more bonus tip, and that's just to have fun, guys. That's what it's all about. Don't worry about failing or not being good enough. You have to start somewhere. Get out there and throw something together. Even if it sucks, at least you're getting started, and you have to start somewhere. And every time you make another film, you're going to learn more and more, and you're going to get better and better. Even if you don't plan on sharing it with the rest of the world, get out there and make something, even if it's just for yourself, just so you can critique yourself and try to emulate others. Even if you copy a movie scene for scene, don't share it with everybody, but get out there and try to recreate things and just experiment and have fun and learn and grow. It's that simple. Just have fun and get out there and create something. All right, guys, question of the day, and this is for all the seasoned filmmakers out there. Do you have any tips for someone that might be making their very first short film? If so, let us know in the comments below. As always, I hope this video has been very beneficial to you, and if it has, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for coming along on this filmmaking journey with me. I am Ryan, and I will see you on the next Piedmont Motion Picture Show.